What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some very, very interesting news, as it looks like newly crowned undefeated unified lightweight world champion Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr. 20 wins, no losses, no draws, 10 wins by way of knockout, 28 years of age. He is 5'9" with a 69-inch arm reach. With that said, George Kambosos Jr., he stated that he wanted to face off after shocking the world and defeating former unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez. It looks like George Kambosos Jr. is going to be looking to face a tune-up fight now, opposed to facing off against undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin "The Dream" Haney, who is 27 wins, no losses, no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout. He is 23 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, George Kambosos Jr., it only made sense for them to fight because for official undisputed, okay? Well, George Kambosos Jr. initially stated it was between Devin Haney and two-time Olympic gold medalist, three-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasyl Lomachenko, who is 16 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'6" with a 66-inch arm reach, okay? So with that said, it looks like Vasyl Lomachenko, he's obviously, we know the circumstances with the Ukraine and Russia, so Vasyl Lomachenko is on the front line with that, and he's unavailable. Okay, we know that the zone in which Eddie Hearn, Matchroom CEO and promoter, partners up with DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, CEO, father, trainer, and manager of Devin Haney, Bill Haney. Okay, so they do co-promoting and joint promotions, right? And so the zone was negotiating for a fight with Devin Haney and George Kambosos. George Kambosos stated he wanted the fight to take place in Australia. Devin Haney is willing to oblige him. It's historic, okay, because this is a glamour division, a lightweight division, and there's never been an undisputed 4 major sanction belt holder and a Ring Magazine world champion in this division. So they come together and history will be made. But it looks like George Kambosos and his team, Lou DiBella, his manager, trainer, promoter, are looking at other options. They're actually looking at a tune-up fight, stay busy fight, a normal defense, voluntary defense, June 5th, against an opponent yet to be named in Australia as a homecoming fight, something that will secure victory for George Kambosos Jr. to assure himself, to get him as close to assurance of a victory in his homecoming fight as possible, and then possibly face off against undefeated, rising lightweight Mexican superstar title contender, King Ryan Garcia, who is 21 wins, no losses, no draw, 18 wins by way of knockout. He is 23 years of age, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. He's going into a showdown against Emmanuel Tagu that looks like it's going to take place April 9th. And then, according to his promoter, retired legendary Olympic gold medalist, Hall of Famer Oscar the Golden Boy De La Hoya, that they're going to be present. They're going to sit ringside. They got an invite to sit ringside at George Kambosos' next fight, and then look to negotiate from there forward to make a fight between the two. Now, obviously, this is confusing to many fans because George Kambosos Jr. took to social media and he told Ryan Garcia, "You got to wait your turn, kid. I'm looking to fight the best in front of my home fans, and it's between Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko, so it should be the process by elimination. Should be automatic that he fights Devin Haney next, right? Because Vasyl Lomachenko is unavailable." Now, we know that they reported that Vasyl Lomachenko signed a 2-fight deal to fight George Kambosos Jr., home and home fight for George Kambosos Jr. Should he lose to Vasyl Lomachenko has to give him an immediate rematch in Australia again. But obviously, Vasyl Lomachenko, he came out and he stated, along with a fellow Olympic gold medalist, undefeated 2-division world champion, unified heavyweight world champion, former undisputed cruiserweight, Oleksandr Usyk, who was also on the front lines with the legends Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko, also Viktor Postol, former world champion, in the Ukraine, defending their homeland. That the sport of boxing is the last thing on their mind, and they don't know when they're coming back, and it's not important to them. What's important to them is defending their land and their pride and their family and friends, okay? So that's what's important. So there's no return to the sport of boxing for Vasyl Lomachenko anytime soon, okay? And Vasyl Lomachenko, how will he be prepared for a training camp and things of that nature moving forward? Looks like Lomachenko could be on the shelf for quite some time. There's a lot more serious things on his mind than the sport of boxing. So if he's not available, shouldn't it be automatic that it's Devin Haney? There should be no hoops and hurdles to jump through, since George Kambosos Jr. is on record stating that he is not into the sport of boxing for money. It's about legacy and entertaining the fans. The biggest fights for the fans. He was present at when Devin Haney fought against former IBF super featherweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Joseph Jojo Diaz, and that there was a stretch of about 4 weeks when all the lightweight best fighters were on display, starting with him and Teofimo Lopez November 27th, then Devin Haney and Joseph Diaz on December 4th, the following Saturday, followed by undefeated 3-division world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis December 5th, the following day after Devin Haney. And then the following week after that, you had Vasyl Lomachenko and former IBF lightweight world champion Richard Coleman, okay? So they were all on display. And George Kambosos Jr. was shopping his services, and he stated that he wanted to have he wanted to face the most entertaining guy. And then he admitted that that guy was Devin Haney, okay? He wanted to get his biggest purse, obviously, and he got his biggest purse versus Teofimo Lopez, and it's only right that, you know, he gets a bigger purse than that fight because he's the unified champion, respectfully. Well, he's going to do that with Devin Haney. So he's going to get the biggest purse of his career. He's going to get an opportunity to fight for and create history for his legacy. And he's getting a fight at home. And yet, he's still dragging his feet. Now, what's important here is because people are going to say, well, it's not George Kambosos Jr., it's his team. Well, I personally interviewed George Kambosos, and I asked him about his promoter, Lou DiBella, stating that they had no interest in fighting Devin Haney because Devin Haney was an email champion. And George Kambosos Jr. said it don't come down to Lou DiBella, it comes down to him because he's the boss. He's the boss. So they answer to him, and they do what he wants to do, rightfully so. But it doesn't seem like that's the case at all, because again, the week after, a few days after he beat Teofimo Lopez, Lou DiBella was featured on the TBV, the Boxing Voice, with Nesta Gibbs, and he stated that Devin Haney, he had no interest in negotiating with Devin Haney because Devin Haney was an email champion. Okay, we know Lou DiBella has an issue and a strained relationship of sorts with Eddie Hearn, so they're just not interested in negotiating a fight. Okay, and so with that said, we know he made it clear that Devin Haney wasn't a person of interest for his fighter. Well, George Kambosos Jr. was saying it was the opposite. And now George Kambosos Jr. seems to be wanting to go along with Lou DiBella and go along with fighting tune-up fights, okay? So with that said, you know, this is not a good look for George Kambosos Jr. If he goes this route, he's going to tarnish his career, okay? You know, fans are not going to respect him moving forward. And the first sign he loses the titles, it could be a wrap for George Kambosos Jr. as far as fanfare goes, okay? Not a lot of people are going to support him because he's not standing on the square, and he's not being a man of his word. He stated that he knew he had to go through Devin Haney to officially become undisputed. And then he changed his status on all his social media and everything involved that he is undisputed. Okay, so it's unfortunate at this point in time, but it looks like George Kambosos Jr. could be looking to face off against a tune-up fight June 5th, a stay busy voluntary defense of his titles, and then look to fight Ryan Garcia, somebody he told on social media that he had to wait his turn. So we got to see how this unfolds and plays out. But there's a few names that's being thrown out that he could possibly face in Australia. A fight that's going to essentially assure him a successful title defense. Nothing big, okay? So with that said, we got to see how this unfolds and plays out. But it's truly unfortunate if George Kambosos Jr. decides to go the route of not fighting Devin Haney at this point in time, because whomever he faces off against in a stay busy tune-up type of fight is not going to garner him the payday he's looking with Devin Haney. It's not going to garner legacy, and it's not going to satisfy the fans' hunger to see the best fighting the best. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But according to Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya, whom always don't tell the truth, but they got an invite to be ringside when he faces off against his next opponent June 5th, and then to begin negotiating a deal to fight him next. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.